Hello, and welcome to another podcast of Jony Cinco. Back at you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Click like and subscribe. But anyways, right, we got 5 seconds, 5 minutes to get back at it, get our mind right, get ourselves ready to go again. And thank you so much for being part of this. Um, so once again, we're talking about, it takes about 5 seconds, 5 minutes to get back on the grind. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, just to take a breather. And what I like to talk about is sometimes life brings you the ups and downs of life, right? The ups and downs of life, and and right now you might be at a down state. Right now you might be at that moment in time where you're looking for motivation, looking for the discipline to come up and get back at it. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to take some time, right? But really, it starts with that the decision, right? The decision to kind of do something about your situation, and it's about that first step. It's about taking that first jump. We would love to have the best, the circumstances that are favorable to us, favorable to anything that we want to do. I'm here to tell you, it's a process. So again, as you're starting your journey back on the grind, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to step to that next level, right? Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, because we're so used to that comfort zone, right? We're so used to just being there, where we're at. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to thank yourself later. There's always that fear, there's always that fear as you get close to that barrier, your comfort zone. There's fear. There's your own mind kind of plays tricks on you and say, can I do it? Will I do it? Will I fail? And you know what? Sometimes we do fail. I'm here to tell you something, we do fail, but we learn from those failures, right? Sometimes, in life, we learn more from our failures than our successes. But you'll thank yourself later, right? And let's grow that circle, right? Let's grow this comfort zone, right? Because as we pass that line and we go to the next line and we go to the next line, we go to the next line, right? That border, we make our zone, right, larger and larger and larger. So I'm here to tell you, like there's always something better on that other side, but it takes time, right? So what I'm here to tell you is stay motivated, stay grinding, and as you get closer to that comfort zone, uh, just just tell yourself, it's going to be okay. And in that process, there is possibly going to be some failures, right, as you get closer to that, and doubts. But I'm here to tell you, and I believe in you, and I wholly believe that the fact that you're here watching this podcast, that tells me that you want to change, that you want to get back at it. And for me, as a person that's been on here, been asking you to do the best version of you, you're going to thank yourself later. You're going to thank yourself the fact that now you a better version of yourself. Your family's going to thank you. Your friends going to thank you. Everybody around you is going to thank you, because again, you just don't know if you're that one person that another person's looking at. You might think yourself you're on the grind by yourself, that you're doing everything by yourself, but guess what? That's not the case. Someone else there is out there looking at you, looking at what you're doing, and getting motivated by you. So again, you just don't know the trail of people that are behind you. So I ask of you, to be the better version of yourself. And if it comes down to you having to cross that line of that comfort zone and show them that it's possible, guess what? Now you have another person doing the same as you, right? And it becomes a trail of people doing worse that started the same as you, right, or even worse as you, and they're using you as a motivator to get back at it. So what I ask of you is, stay motivated, and as you get closer to that comfort zone, don't let your mind mess with you, right? Because your soul knows, your person knows what you need from yourself. So what I ask is be that best version of yourself, right? And you'll thank yourself later. You don't have to thank me. You don't have to thank anybody around you, but you'll thank yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, As you look yourself in the mirror, you'll be the one to say, you know what, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you've done. But if anybody has not told you today, I tell you that I believe in you. Jony Cinco believes in you, and you're gonna be the best version of yourself. So keep grinding, keep getting after it. Peace. Here we go once again. This is Jony Cinco coming at you, back at you with another podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, it takes 5 seconds, 5 minutes to get back on the grind. And guess what? I believe in you, and everybody, around you believes in you. So if not, just keep on thinking the fact that, and knowing the fact that people, you in particularly, are the only person right now between you and your next goal, right? It's only you. So what I ask of you, as you get better at doing those things, doing those steps to be the best version of you, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you can do it, right? Because I believe in you and you can do the goals that you have. So once again, as we move forward in these days, as we get forward into the fact that we wake up every morning, and then we have these goals, right? These goals we set for ourselves, right? And sometimes, in these goals that we set ourselves, we want to have those successes instantly. But I'm here to tell you, success takes time, right? Takes a grind, takes discipline, takes that consistency, right? To continue to keep on going. So if you want to get better at writing, you want to get better at, if you want to read more books, if you want to, learn a specific craft, be a master at a craft, right? It takes time, right? And it takes your energy. So don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the because this person probably has he looks like he's smarter. He looks like he's advancing faster. You are on your path, right? And believe that the path that you're taking is the right path, right? Through right consistency, through discipline, through those first steps. So don't measure yourself like anybody else because guess what? You are you, and that's what makes you unique. And your path is gonna be your path. And at the end of the day, when you sit down on your couch or you sit down on your bed or whatever it is that your routine is to before you go to sleep, or even when you're in your bed or getting ready to sleep, you're satisfied with the progress that you've done, right? Because at the end of the day, again, no one knows what you've done on the grind, right? And sometimes, right, everybody wants to, in the day and age where we post everything of what we do and the grind that we're doing, and everybody, is getting satisfaction of those instant satisfactions of what we're doing. But you know what? No one's seeing the grind that you're doing in the gym, right? No one's seeing the grind that you're doing on the typewriter. I mean, on your computer, right? No one's doing, the grind that you're doing from the pen to paper. So what I ask of you, just continue to go, continue to do this, right? And at the end of the day, you're gonna thank yourself. So don't ever falter. If today is the day that you say you're gonna do this of 30 minutes typing, a 30-minute workout, and then it ends up being 15. Guess what? That was some progress, right? Don't fixate yourself on the hour, a 2 hour, 3 hours, right? If it's today was 10 minutes, today was 10 minutes. Today was 15, it was 15. But the goal is moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. And that is at the end of the day on you, right? And if today, at the end of the night, you get to that couch, the bed, whatever again your routine is to go to sleep, you analyze that and ask yourself, did I do what I had to do today to progress in the goals that I had? And if you didn't, it's all right. It's better to have done a small amount than done a big amount. Because I said it before in another podcast, right? The way we eat a cake, right? It isn't the entire cake in one hit, right? We're gonna get it slice by slice, right? And if it's, some people want instant progress, but what I can tell you is any master, right? No matter what it is, that the mastery that you're trying to create for yourself, it takes time, it takes repetition, it takes consistency, it takes the ability to say, what, today I'm going to learn from somebody and be humble enough to say and ask those questions, say, can I learn from you? And there's people out there that are willing to teach you, what they've known, what they've learned through the years, right, of what their life has brought them. So what I ask of you is just keep on grinding, keep on getting after it. And this is Jony Cinco, always proud of you, always believing in you. The fact that, again, I want you to be the best version of you today, tomorrow, and to the next day. But it starts today, right? So keep on grinding. This is Jony Cinco out. Here we go. Once again, this is Jony Cinco. Thank you very much for tuning in. What is it about? What you got going on? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's you and you alone, but at the same time, with your thoughts, with your heart, with your person. But again, once again, always there's going to be somebody out there that believes in you, believes in your grind. And sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's a good friend, sometimes it's people that your co-workers, right? And all I gotta say is, if you believe in the spirituality, if you believe in God, guess what? God always sends these people, right? People, that are in your life, and you don't know specifically how or why they know, or the perfect things to say to you that you need to listen. So I always ask you, as you're grinding, as you're being the best version of yourself, look, you're going to find yourself analyzing at the end of the day, like, man, why does this person tell me this, or why do I need to hear this, right? And things, sometimes messages come from higher, come from God, and it's not going to be that, this illuminating, room, or him, or your God showing up as a miracle. Sometimes these messages come from random people, at work, your friends, your family, you're at the store, at the coffee shop, you're at the Staples, you're at any local store, grocery store, and somebody tells you a message, gives you a message. And sometimes, those messages come, in a book. Sometimes we lift, we open up a book, we open up the good book, we open up, any literature that we have around. Sometimes these messages come from social media, and this is what you needed to hear today. So I ask you, you keep that open mind, keep your open mind to these messages, and analyze that. There's many times where I find myself, hearing the messages from random people, and I'm like, man, why did this person tell me this? Why, I had the idea, because and again, like, this is the same thing, right? The podcast that happened, right? 5 minutes, 5 seconds, right? That was it. It was somebody that told me, sometimes it just takes 5 seconds to breathe. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes to just kind of reset and refit, and let's get back at it. And it goes back to sometimes, we want to do things, and the thing is, like, if we train ourselves to get back at it, to 5 seconds, 5 minutes, then we can reset. It doesn't take 30 minutes. It doesn't take 20 minutes. It doesn't take an hour. Sometimes it just takes 5 seconds, a breather. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, right, to get ready to go to the gym. It takes 5 minutes to brush our teeth, get our hygiene going, right, to get out that bed. It takes 5 minutes, right? But the decision comes in those 5 seconds, right? You have 5 seconds to say, let's do it, right? And then the action comes after, right? So what I say, when you hear these messages, right, sometimes, we write them down, we jot them, or they just stick in our mind, right, stick in our heart, and we're trying to figure out, okay, like, why did I remember this? Why I remember this specifically, right? So then, it goes back to this 5 seconds, right? You sit back and you think to yourself, okay, I can either do this, do that, make a decision, and bam, just make the action happen, right? And whatever that is, right? If it was a decision to just relax today. Sometimes we're dealing with energy. Sometimes it's about a goal. Sometimes it's about just things that, we have a goal in mind, and we forgot about it, and then somebody brings it back up. So whatever those messages are that in life that you receive today, from God, from a higher being, right, from that spirituality that you believe in, keep your open mind. These messages come every day. So again, when you hear them, analyze them, right? Sometimes these messages don't require any action, right? Just requires you to just sit down, analyze. Because again, these come in everyday shape and sizes, right? And sometimes it's those things that we need to hear, that we need to listen to. So I ask you, even as Jony Cinco tells you about grinding, sometimes about getting after, guess what? Sometimes it's just about chilling, right? And listen to those messages. So this is Jony Cinco, once again, getting after it. Thank you for subscribing, and click like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace. Hey, once again, thank you very much for tuning in on this Jony Cinco podcast. What can I say, but not to say the fact that, what is it to be a champion, right? What is it to be successful? What is it to be on the mountaintop? What it is it to be, already in that mindset of, what, all the goals that I have set for myself, I have accomplished. And then when you're in that success mode, how many people want to say that they're a part of it? And you know what, at the end of the day, we get upset. We get upset the fact that some people take credit for the grind that we have, all the things that we've accomplished through our sweat, through our grind, through anything that we believe. The fact that, okay, this is why the reason why this person believes that they belong in the same conversation as you, right? The best version of you. I'm here to tell you, everybody wants to be part of successes, but no one wants to be part of your failures, right? They don't know, the time that you took where you failed, where you were, the days that you got home and you felt like a failure, when you were out there on the gym trying to do this personal record, and you failed and you failed and you failed, right? The days that when you were trying to write and you could only write 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes because of the fact that, your life, you have a life, and many people, right, criticized you or thought or didn't believe in your goal. And all of a sudden, now that you are there, you're here, you made it to that mountaintop, you realize that, everybody wants to take credit. And you know what? Let them take credit. Let them say and do whatever it is that they want to say, because everybody has opportunity to say something, right? But you put in the work. And because you put in the work, you know what it takes, right? You know what it takes to be successful. And that is the key of anything, right? If as you progress in your goal, and you hit those specific goals that you had, um, you know, people gonna want to take credit. So don't let that falter. Don't let that bring you down. Don't let that say, like, why is this person saying they help me with this and help me with that? But again, if somebody did help you in the way, right? If somebody did, lend a lending hand, right? If somebody did took the time to train you, teach you, mentor you, you always want to also give those people their flowers, give those people those gratitude, and say, this is the person that trained me. This is the person that helped me. But again, if there's those people that are talking about that they did it, say, okay, they did it. But when they ask those individuals those questions, about how they did it, or what part they took upon it, they don't know. They don't know the intricacies. They don't know the putting the one and one together, the two and two together. They don't know, what it is that you did to get to where you're at. So what I tell you always is, there's always going to be people that are taking credit. There's always going to be people that are going to be talking, trash about what you've done, or what you have accomplished, or you could have done this, you could have done that. Guess what? Everybody has, their opinion, but you know what it took to get here. So what I ask you, be proud of your grind. Be proud of all what it took to get you to this point. And don't let anybody, bring you down. And people are going to want to add their name to what you've done. They're going to want to talk trash about what you've done. But at the end of the day, you go back, to your couch, like I said, right? To your bed, the side of the bed, whatever the case may be, to your little rocking chair, on the porch, whatever it is, right? You are the only one that knows what it took to get you here. And the sacrifices. God knows the sacrifices that you took to get you here. So again, keep grinding. Everybody, positive, negativity is always going to be there, but you're with you. You know what's in your heart. You know what's in your soul. You know what it took to get you here. So I always ask you, keep grinding. I believe in you. Jony Cinco, again, always believes in you. You believe in yourself. You got family, friends, and you got everybody behind you to look up to you. So again, thank you always for tuning into the podcast. Click like and subscribe. And again, this is Jony Cinco out. Peace. Hey, what's going on, family and friends? This is Jony Cinco, always coming at you with another 5 seconds, with another 5 minutes of let's get back at it. Let's get back on the grind. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Click like and subscribe always. Again, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and we all believe in you as a team, as a collaborative. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, I'm a guy that always, gets up in the morning, right, and has a specific routine. And this is what I'm trying to get at, right? Let's get back to the routines, right? Let's make this consistency, right? Let's make it something consistent. So that means if you're getting up in the morning and you're doing, your hygiene, you're doing your brushing your teeth, you're getting up, right? You get downstairs, man. You drink your bottle of water, you get the coffee in the coffee pot. You start, boiling those eggs, right, to get yourself healthy. You get yourself, you take your pre-workout, whatever that case may be, or you drink your dark coffee, whatever your morning routine is to get grinding, right, to get back at it. The more consistent you are, the more you're likely to get things done, right? So sometimes, consistency, we say it's boring, right? But guess what? If you're consistent with what it is and what you do, then you're more likely to get after those goals that you have. So if you set yourself those times, right, throughout the day, if I'm gonna go do, my writing, is it during lunch, right? Is it during, after work? Is it after my workout? Is it before I go to bed? All these different separate goals right there don't require so much of that physical activity to be going outside, to going out and getting after it. But also, you might have a gym in your garage, or again, right? Let me go ahead and pack my clothes right the night before. Let me go ahead and iron that clothes before I go to work. The day prior, or the morning as I get up. Whatever your routine, set those routines, right? Because again, if you set the routines, you make them consistent, you're more likely to get after those goals. So I'd ask you as Jony Cinco, right? Take those 5 seconds today. Take those 5 minutes. Write it down, right? Write down these consistent things that you want to do in the morning, consistent things you want to do in the afternoon, consistent things you want to do in the evening, depending on what your work schedule is. But be consistent. And at the end of the day, when you're consistent, your goals become consistent, right? Your everything that you set for yourself becomes consistent. And little by little, you're chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And at the end of the day, you see progress little by little. Day by day, days become weeks, week becomes month becomes years, and bam, at the end of the day, you're at the top of the goal that you have. And again, right? So always, right? What I ask of you, take that time today, write those things that you need to be consistent of, right? And let's get action, right? So there's 5 seconds, make the decision, and then you know what? It takes about 5 minutes to get that action going, and let's do it. And when I say about action, I'm talking about like doing the complete action. I'm talking about like let's get ourselves prepared, right? If it's again, getting up, decision, bam, let's get the action going, right? Let's put the coffee, let's put the eggs, let's put all these things, let's put the pen, let's put that pencil next to each other, let's put that computer, let's lift it up, let's start typing, right? Let's start, let's get that treadmill started. Let's start walking, right? Let's get that rower going, with that little pool. Guess what? You start pulling, right? Let's get that erg, machine going, and you start pulling the erg right from the handles. If it's about lifting that weight, guess what? Let's get that weight on our hands and let's pump it up, right? So whatever the case may be, right? Again, it takes that decision, but then it takes that action. So I'd ask if the same thing, right? If it's about spirituality, guess what? It takes about 5 seconds, to sit down on your knees and pray, right? If it's about sitting down, right? Whatever the case may be, let's get back at it. Let's get back to it. So again, let's be consistent. And then again, right, little by little, that discipline, that consistency becomes, second nature. And before you know it, as you're building up this consistency, this routine, people are going to be like, man, this person has more time on their hands to get these goals done. And how is that? So there you go. So I ask you, let's keep on grinding, let's keep on going.